let you know. It's just the first half where I'm talking about the thing. So don't look at the screen too much if it makes you uncomfortable. If it makes you really uncomfortable, I'll fully switch the screen too. Just to let you know. I know some people don't like gore, so. Alright, so practical effects in film. In 2011, and here you go, more, there was a Thing remake. In 2011, they decided to make the remake of John Carpenter's The Thing, which is one of the pioneers when it came to monster special effects and practical effects, which is where they use makeup, plastic, silicone, and everything to make something look horrifying and real. They promised us in the 2011 remake that they were going to rely on practical effects like the original one does. If that was the case, we would have gotten something like this. The group who did it is a small practical effects group. They did Alien Resurrection. I think they have people that have done stuff in the original Thing. What they did here is here is the morphing of two faces, so that's it. You get them combining together. It was all makeup, all just practical effects and gore and everything that made it look really real and scary. But at the last moment, the director decided he wanted to go to CGI, which is here. This is computer graphics. And the reason for it is because he didn't have the 3D mobility to it. The thing with practical effects that's really scary, or what's really good, is that it has a realness to it, but you can only show it at one angle. It's all about tricks and angles and lighting. So thus he went to CGI. And thus this group wasn't able to create their practical effects, which were very cool. So this is the original Thing. These are effects from the original Thing, and you can see here it's all like models, it's all puppets, and it looks terrifying. That was the thing that was amazing about this movie, and which is amazing. And my first point about practical effects and why they're better than CGI. Today I'll be talking about two things. One is horror and realism, and the realism to the audience, and the second thing is realism to actors and how actors can interact with objects. Starting with The Thing, you can see here the effects are terrifying. If you've ever seen the movie, it's one of the scariest movies ever because you don't really know what the thing is until it appears, and then it's disgusting. Another good example is Chucky. Chucky was an all robotic creature, or doll, he's a doll, that they're able to robotically control. So in the movie, you see him scurrying around, and it's really scary because you see the shadows, which is also done with manipulation and puppets too. But because they had a robot and a standalone robot, him as a doll coming to life felt more real than like something out of CGI, which I think is more of the remakes. And that's what made this movie so scary, because he was a simple doll that can crawl around. My second example is the raptor scene in Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park actually did have a lot of CGI. The T-Rex is CGI. It was one of the first people to use CGI, and they're a pioneer in it, which looked amazing, but they still needed puppets to make it look real. One cool thing about the raptor scene, which granted is one of the most terrifying scenes in the whole movie, is that these were all puppets. So the people, there's actually people in these suits that were crawling through, and just the fact that even just the manipulation of the scenes in general made it look really scary was that they were real and they were right there. And even you can see like the skin and the fact that they were there, and which would be my next point, the actor can react to it. So the actors in this scene, the two kids, they were scared for their lives because they looked scary. Another effect that let's see, actually I'm going to go here. Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about onto that point is in Star Wars, the original, this is obviously for the new one, the original, they had R2-D2 as it was actually a person in the suit, and because of that, R2-D2 is, if you've ever seen Star Wars, is one of the most personnel characters out there. Like it has personality, and people were able to interact with it. And one thing that when the new Star Wars came out, everyone was like, "Oh man, it's gonna be all CGI," and then everyone thought this new droid, which is BB-8, was going to be CGI. But then, this is a conference actually that happened in April, they revealed that he was a robot and made everyone excited because everything's CGI now. And now we're like, oh, practical effects actually. And because of this, and like R2-D2, the actors will be able to interact with this. The only reason I like to make this point is because in Lord of the Rings, or actually specifically The Hobbit, the one main complaint from it was the fact that Gandalf, or the guy Ian McKellen, could not act with the CGI. Like everything was CGI to the point where it got him to tears because he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at, anything like that. My point that I like to make here is the fact that in the orcs of Lord of the Rings, these were all people that got makeup put onto them every single day. And they were able to interact with these hordes of people. In The Hobbit, they CGI'd everyone. So it was like, how are you supposed to get the horror out of that? So, that, and you know, even on top of that, the one big thing in Lord of the Rings that was cool over The Hobbit is that they use forced perspective, and forced perspective is something like this. So Gandalf was able to interact with Frodo because he was right here, but technically, like the whole point of Frodo is he's supposed to be small. He's a hobbit, and the same thing with the Hobbit movies, except they were CGI made to be small. But in this movie, they were able to create a forced perspective where they were able to talk to each other still, but he would still look small. And as you can see here too, he looks smaller. So that's one thing I just wanted to talk about practical effects because I think they're really amazing, and I'm really excited that people like Star Wars are using practical effects because for me, I want to use them in the future. That's my dream job is to become a practical effects robotics engineer, and I'm really excited to see them back, especially because people are kind of pushing away from the CGI. I'm not completely against CGI, but I still see a lot more in practical effects. Thank you.
If we could get a minute on our timer, Ms. Pam. Just a minute for people to do a short little evaluation on Hannah's talk. Thank you.